Now you have to start looking at your life. We have to look at how do we make an investment in who we are as people who are 25, 30, and 35, so we get to build a career for ourselves. So the goal here is going to be as follows. Rather than you being in a situation where you are dependent on a paycheck, I want you to get into a situation where those who give you a paycheck are dependent upon you. Did you hear that? That can happen. But in order to do that, you need time to make your mark so that you are noticed by those who you're working for. I want to tell you a story that I did with a woman by the name of Lauren. This is a true life story, and this is how you start to go from being broke to not being broke and working in a situation that you want. Here's Lauren, 21 years of age, and she wants to be a shoe designer. She gives her application to every single place in New York City, and everybody turns her down. She doesn't know what to do. She's talking to me about it. And one day, a friend of her mother's offers her a job for $65,000 a year as a toy designer for this woman's company. Lauren comes to me and says, Suze, $65,000 a year. I have to take this job. And I said, Lauren, do you want to be a toy designer? And she said, no, but Suze, I'm being a waitress right now. I'm doing things I don't want to do. The shoe places haven't answered me yet. This is $65,000 a year. I said, Lauren, I am asking you not to take this job. If there was ever a time in your life to stick by what you want to become, now is the time. Now is not the time for you to work for money. Now is the time for you to work for something that you love and you want to be for the rest of your life. She stuck by that. She turned it down. She didn't talk to me for almost 2 months after that. But what happened was she got a job in a shoe company in New York City for under $30,000 a year. And she says to me, all right, after taxes, after everything in New York City, can you tell me, Suze Orman, how do you expect for me to make it? I said, well, Lauren, we'll get to that in 1 second, but here are the rules of this game. If this is a company that you want to develop a career with, which it is, this is what you need to do. They want you to be there at 8 o'clock, get there at 7. You're supposed to leave at 5, stay until 8 or 9. Come in on Saturdays. You come in and work and do everything that they ask you and everything that they don't ask you. And you are not to ask them for a pay raise. This is not about money. This is about you establishing yourself to this company as the greatest worker they have ever seen, bar none. And she did that. Now, while she was doing that, she didn't quite know how to make it. And I said, all right, I want you to listen to me. For all these years that I've been telling you not to use credit cards, I want you to think about this. Years ago, when people really wanted to make a good investment and they wanted to make money, what did they do? They bought an undervalued asset. They leveraged that asset and they kept it until it became a valued asset. Let me give you an example. Years ago, people bought stocks when stocks were very cheap. When the shares of stock went up in value, they would sell them and make a lot of money. Real estate. They bought a piece of real estate. Years ago, real estate was undervalued. They would buy real estate, borrow money from a bank, wait until that piece of undervalued real estate became valued by everybody else, correct? And then they would sell it. And that's how fortunes were made. Let's get real today. What is out there that is undervalued? The stock market isn't that undervalued anymore, is it? Real estate isn't that undervalued anymore, is it? What is the only undervalued asset that is out there today, in my opinion, and probably yours? It's you. It is the youth of America. They have the most incredible educations of anybody out there. They are incredibly undervalued as an asset. So how do we make them become a valued asset? By investing in themselves. Are you following me? How do they do that? This is where my advice now has altered. While it is true that there are bad debt, good debt years ago for credit card, today for this young, fabulous, and broke generation, I am changing that terminology from bad debt, good debt, to bad uses and good uses of credit cards. What's a good use? A good use of a credit card is to go to the grocery store to buy groceries for you to eat. A bad use is taking a credit card and going to a restaurant for you to charge food to eat out with your friends. Good use of a credit card, putting gasoline in your car so you can get to your job. Bad use of a credit card, putting gasoline in your car so you can go on a skiing vacation with your buddies. There are good uses and there are bad uses. So we tried that with Lauren. And during those months when she was getting by, because she was using her credit card for good uses, coming in at 7 in the morning, leaving at 8 o'clock at night, every single person at this shoe company was noticing her. 1.5 years later, Lauren has now been promoted to one of the head designers of this shoe company. She is making a seriously good salary, stock options, and everything else. And guess what? She is now in the position where she doesn't need to use her credit cards anymore. And she now is making enough money that she will be able to pay back the debt very easily in just a few months that she accumulated on this credit card. What was the goal when I started this? The goal was for those that you are dependent on a paycheck for right now, for them to become dependent upon you. When you give your all to the place that you're working, when you're first starting out, trust me, they will notice you and they will want you. Let's go back to Lauren for another second. When Lauren knew she was going to get this promotion, she came back to me and said, all right, I want to go in there and I want to ask them for this much money. And I said, you are not to go in there and ask them for a penny. Do you hear me? She said, oh my God, when is this going to stop with you, Suze? She said, what are you talking about? I said, Lauren, you are now essentially 23, 24 years of age. You have a lifetime ahead of you to make the big bucks. If you make the importance of your work money rather than what you do, you have blown it. You are now like every other person out there. And your boss, your employer, everybody will go, oh, just somebody else who wants more money. The money will come after you yourself have proven yourself and continue to prove yourself to this company. Without asking, this company actually gave her what she wanted. And don't think that they did not take note that she did not ask them for the money. Lauren is now in a situation where many of you deserve to be in, but your priorities have got to be in order. You have got to understand, are you going for a job that just keeps you from being kind of broke? Or are you going for a career that you will love going to every single day for the rest of your life, so that, in fact, you can then love it, want to be there more? The more you're there, the more you're noticed, the more you're noticed, the more money you make, the quicker you're out of broke. Am I making sense to you? All right.